back. That is Scotty Bender.
Good morning.
I'm the big guy, extra big today. Look at that. Wow. Scotty, we're starting hot. We have a special guest
Very special guest.
here today with us from Buffalo, Joe Todaro.
Don't loop me in with those Erie County peasants.
Wow. There you go.
Lewiston, it's the high rent district.
That's right.
So Joe is joining us today as our, what would you say, Canadian expert? That's what we're going with?
I wouldn't use the term expert. I kind of like been paying attention to Canadian politics since I live so close to Canada now.
I was going to say, Lewiston's got to be a rock throw.
So
to the border.
It's faster for me to swim to Canada than it is to drive to Canada. That's how close right now.
And just so you know, Joe, we are going to say you're our Canadian expert because, it's our show, right, Scotty?
Yeah, we'll just say, we'll tag you whatever we want.
Yeah.
You could have been the actual Canadian. I imagine you know some, but
we did talk about that, didn't we, Scotty?
Yes.
I guess I'm the next best thing. So,
well, if you knew some of the rummies, we knew.
Some characters. That's a whole different show.
All right. So the hot news: Justin Trudeau stepping down. What is going on?
So he stepped down, but he's not stepped down. Basically, it's kind of like similar to what Biden did at the 0 hour when he decided he wasn't going to run for re-election. That's kind of what's going on with Justin Trudeau. He's stepping down now as party leader. So what that means, how Canada operates, is they have like a 3-party system, and whoever gets the most votes into power, their leader becomes the prime minister. So Justin Trudeau is resigning as party leader, which means if the Liberal Party were to win the election, they would have a new prime minister. Now, the Liberal Party's not going to win the election. They are going to be voted out, and you're going to see the Conservative Party win. And I'm sorry if I butcher your name, but Pierre Pollievre, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's probably going to be the next prime minister of Canada, and the election's going to take place probably sometime in March.
So you're saying, is he more right-leaning?
Yeah. So I would compare, like, a conservative Canadian is probably a moderate Democrat. You're not going to get like the full-on conservative, like Trump, like kind of guy. He might be more of a John McCain Republican or a Mitt Romney Republican than Donald Trump or somebody like a Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Understood.
He's still a very conservative guy by Canadian standards, but by our standards, he'd be like very centrist.
Okay. All right.
So Joe, you were describing their process for the elections and the Liberal Party leader and all. What happened? What was the main driving force that made him, after like 10 years, decide like to step down? Because it's an odd time to do it, isn't it? With everything going on with Donald Trump and this whole like Canada's our 51st state and Trudeau's our governor, and it just seems like a weird time to do it.
Yeah, it's I think you're seeing a more right-wing movement, not just in Canada, but throughout the world. Everyone's kind of pushing back on, I shouldn't say liberalism, because liberalism I feel is a universal, like everybody likes it, but wokeism I think is kind of hijacked the liberalism aspect. I think people are pushing back on that, and what you're seeing now is more people like Trump popping up in respective countries, and they're the ones that are going to end up taking power, at least for a little while. So, and I think that's what's going on in Canada. Canada has been far, like their inflation problem is far worse than what we have, and their housing crisis is way worse than what we have going on. And Canada's kind of on the brink. I say this like like it sounds very bleak, but they're kind of on the brink of collapse. And if they don't do something now, I think maybe it wouldn't be as far-fetched as people think that they become the 51st state. But I think they're trying to prevent that. And I hopefully they do prevent that, because that would just be a bigger calamity than it sounds. So
What I came surprised about, Joe, is that how many people, Canada's our neighbor, and most folks you asked wouldn't even know what was going on over there. What you're saying, like on the brink of collapse, or the trials and tribulations they're going through. People don't. Your normal person or your average person here in the States would not know that. They just would think, oh, Canada, I go to Canada, Niagara Falls, everything. Canada's always friendly, and there's this aura about Canada.
yeah.
But then I hear from a friend of ours up in Toronto that, they had one of the worst COVID lockdowns. It was awful. You know? I mean, it was martial law. You had to go out at certain times to go shopping. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. And then you had the truckers too, who tried to push back, and then Trudeau froze their assets.
Right. Went into their bank accounts.
Yeah. That's insanity.
Yes.
How could that even happen? And how is he still in power? Like, that was like, what, 4 years ago? How is he still in power 4 years later after trying to pull that stunt?
I remember that.
Yeah. It's crazy. But when I say Canada's on a brink of collapse, it's not like they're going to be invaded by China and taken over. What I mean by is economic collapse.
Right. That's how I took it.
Yeah. They're so basically these are numbers that I got. These are all from an interview I got with Pierre Pollievre. So I don't know, this is just the conservative point of view, but he was saying that productivity in Canada, whereas in America, productivity, basically it's GDP divided by how many hours Americans work. An American earns $80 an hour in productivity, which means you go to work, you earn $80 towards the GDP. A Canadian's earning $50, and these are all US dollars. $50.
Big difference.
Yeah. So that's a huge disadvantage and that's all within the last 10 years. This is where you're starting to see USA pull away from Canada. They used to be neck and neck, but the USA productivity and GDP is just burying Canada. And investment dollars, again, these are all his numbers, these aren't mine. And a USA average investment in a worker is $28,000 a year, being equipment, technology, widgets, and stuff. It might not seem like that at your job every day, but I'm just talking about the country as a whole. Whereas a Canadian investment in a worker is $15,000 a year.
Wow.
So their average, a Canadian basically, they have to work 60% more just to earn what an American does. And they're getting 55 cents on the dollar investment towards them as far as their work. So that's a recipe for disaster.
Sounds like they're lazy.
It's not. It kind of does. It kind of does.
I mean, I'm not trying to offend any of our Canadian listeners out there, but again, the numbers don't lie, right, Joe?
Right. Like I said, these are skewed because these are Pierre Pollievre's numbers. I didn't go and verify. I'm just going by what he says.
So you got to take a little bit of salt with it, as they say, but still, the numbers still show that there's a significant difference between the two, regardless. I mean, it's such a big gap that it's not a little here and there is not going to make a big difference. Saying, "Oh no, it's a big deal."
Right, and then you're talking about Toronto's GDP in general is probably equivalent to our poorest state in America right now. We're talking Mississippi numbers. It's just. And
again, for the fans out of Mississippi, we're not.
Well, it is what it is. He doesn't have Forbes 500 companies.
Right. No, I know.
That's what I mean. I'm not disparaging people in Mississippi. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
No, Scotty was.
You'd think a booming metropolis of millions of people like Toronto would be similar to like a city like New York or Chicago, or it's more
Right.
similar to like Mississippi. So
That's sad.
the math isn't mathing. So yeah, it's a mess.
What's our
Canada,
dollar like over there?
so right now it's like, I think it's like 66%. So yeah, like
Wow.
every US dollar is only 66 cents American. And even like this past summer, it was still like in the 70 cents on the dollar. So it's dropping quite a bit.
Yeah. It's a big
So
deal. It's a big deal.
yeah, that's a big, I remember like in the 90s it was 50 cents on the dollar, but that was more our dollar being very strong and theirs were weak. Or it wasn't weak, but it was just ours was so strong. So a lot of people like might think that's a misconception, like, oh, it's always like that. But no, this is different because our dollar is not as strong as it used to be. So for
Hmm.
theirs to be 66 cents on our dollar is theirs is like pretty much worthless. And I'll go into Toronto and Vancouver being the most unaffordable housing markets in North America. So they're more unaffordable than any city in our country. So yeah, it's really dire straits up there right now, and hopefully they can like turn it around and get it back because they might have to be the 51st state by default, and that that selfishly I would love it, so I can go to Canada and not have to go through customs, but yeah, I don't think Canadians would love it. So
I'm not going to like defend the attempt to make Canada our 51st state, but the idea of doing a European Union
yeah,
style connection between Canada and America does make sense. That has been floated before. That I would be totally in support of. Combining our dollars, combining our economies in a way to benefit both countries. Well, what do you think of that idea in comparison to them just becoming like, Mississippi North?
that would be one thing. I don't I don't think that's gonna happen. I would love for it to happen where at least you can over to Canada and rather still go through customs, but rather than just like go through the whole rigmarole of customs, just show an ID, and as long as you have an ID, you can go and live there. And the same for Canadians to come to America. As long as you have a Canadian ID and you want to come work in America and live in America, you could travel back and forth. That I would like to see something like that, but I don't know. We'll see what happens, but like that would be I think, because I think in the European Union right now you were like you're saying the dollars combined and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen with us, but I think the next best thing would be just border passing, and like yeah, like if like say you and I wanted to go work in Toronto,
Yeah.
um
Which we
like
do.
just go work in Toronto, like, and then come home like that
Yeah.
without having to go through an immigration process and getting a visa. Like that would be really cool, because then you can see Canadians coming to America for high payer jobs and then moving back and then going home to Canada. Um, or like in our case, like we would probably go work in Canada because there's more opportunity, there's a bigger city, and it's closer to us. So
Yeah.
that's something I would like to see. But I don't think you're ever gonna see the full like European Union where they're using the same currency, or I don't think that's gonna ever happen.
All right. And then, so I do want to voice my concerns about Mr. Pierre.
Yeah.
Um, he is, the choice of Elon Musk. So
Right.
that immediately raises flags to me because Elon is supporting him, pushing him heavily on X, sharing videos of him like constantly throughout the day. Elon is pushing for people in Italy, Germany,
Yeah.
England. There's something up with the way he is pushing for specific people. He kind of did that in America, Scotty. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
Oh yeah, yeah. You were there for some of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
But I don't
so
really have a problem with it though.
oh, wow. Okay. So Joe, what is that? Is there any talk of that in Canada? Is there any concern about that?
I imagine so. I'm so like anti X, I guess you could Twitter. I don't go on there anymore now. So I'm not like really into Twitter anymore, but I imagine that's just bad for anybody. And now you're starting to see it's not only Elon, you're starting to see Zuckerberg kiss the ring of Donald Trump. So I imagine you're going to see some Zuckerberg influence in Canada as well. And it's kind of eye-opening now that you're starting to see these big social media billionaires influencing not only our election but worldwide elections. And get the fuck off social media, people. That's basically my answer to that is like we've got to take back our common sense. So yeah, I started
Yeah.
like getting rid of X. Facebook is probably the next one to get rid of. Well, I didn't get rid of X. I don't want to lose 10 years of tweets, but I'm definitely not on there anymore. I'm only in a couple group chats, and once those group chats fizzle out, I can't imagine I'll even open the app anymore. So
Yeah, Joe, I definitely can relate to the social media um, distancing. I was off Facebook for almost 7 months. I recently got on Twitter due to the show, but or X, excuse me. So I understand what you're saying. I would just like everyone to get off social media. I don't do TikTok. I don't do Instagram. But like I said, I didn't do X because for I never really went on X. Now all of a sudden I am on it. It is kind of addicting a little bit now that I'm like back into it. But a lot of it you
But
gotta take
you
for a grain
love
of
it
salt.
now because it's like
It's like a shiny new toy. Oh yeah,
yeah. But I meant because X is now like your playground.
correct.
It's all Trump.
I agree with everything.
Trumpers.
The Trump,
It should be called the Trumpers.
the Trumpers. Yes. Yep.
Joe T, before we let you go, there's a situation in LA that I wanted to get your comments on since you lived there for a long time, right? 17 years?
yes, 17 years. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think of the wildfires going on and the terrible destruction?
Yeah, it's awful. It's very heartbreaking. I know quite a bit of people who've lost their homes, and
Yeah.
it's really sad. I want to put there's like a misconception out there that people are talking about how fire hydrants like running out of water. Well, no shit. These are thousands of acres of like wildfire that are being burnt. A fire hydrant's only designed to like hold enough water, like if your house is burning down, to like put out your house, maybe the neighbor's house. Like when you're talking like entire blocks, entire neighborhoods, of course the fire hydrants are gonna run out of water. It's not like yeah, it could have been managed better. Obviously, there's gonna be an investigation when this is all over, and hopefully the people of Los Angeles vote better going forward, not just the sexy whomever is in charge. Like I don't know if you know how California politics work.
Oh,
It's not
can we
they're not
just pause for a second?
yeah, sure.
Uh, who are you calling sexy?
Oh, well, I'm just saying like the Hollywood
No.
elite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Because
maybe you had something for Gavin Newsom that you
yeah.
wanted
No,
to.
no. I don't
Maybe we should dig into this a little further before we go.
yeah.
Like,
So California politics is
Not that
ranked.
there's anything wrong with that. Though.
It's ranked politicians. So you vote for the whoever you want, and then the top two move on to the general election. So you're not really ever going to see a Republican mayor of Los Angeles, but you got to stop voting for the people that like Hollywood is propping up and start voting for candidates that like are actually have your best interests at heart. You have this mayor out there cutting budgets to the fire department, and yeah, it sounds like a lot of money. Like when you hear $17 million budget cut, it's only 2% of the fire budget. So that's not like it's not like a huge cut, but when your city's burning and then you're off in Africa to attend an inauguration of the new president of Ghana, I mean that's a bad look. And then when she came back to LA, she wouldn't answer any questions to the press. I mean, come on, Los Angeles, elect better people, do better. And once
You know who I would vote for?
who?
Henry Winkler. Well, the
The
Fonz.
Fonz.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants the job.
Oh.
I think he's
Hey.
probably
Sometimes you get drafted. That's how I look at it. Right?
So
I
my question is, how do you rebuild from something like this? I've seen pictures, right? It's overwhelming. It's even for me to look at it and watch. It's overwhelming. I can't imagine the people involved. I mean, just as an outsider seeing it, I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, I can't imagine. And these actors who are, it's heartbreaking. It's devastating.
Pacific Palisades, I don't think is ever going to come back to how it is. And that's too bad. It was really, really nice place to go hang out. I don't know if you guys made it over there on your trips to LA, but Pacific Palisades was really cool. And it was all like brand new. It was like they really did a good job over there. And to see it gone is just incredible, because you don't think, when you see wildfires and stuff, yeah, you think people's homes, but you don't think like entire, like Pacific Palisades itself was like its own city, and like the whole city's gone. You're seeing like they're showing footage of like commercial properties, which is crazy because you're used to wildfires and then people's homes who live in the woods and stuff like that. We're talking like city blocks, and it's really nuts.
It's inconceivable.
You don't really rebuild from that. I don't see how. And like, so I think a lot of these people are just going to take their insurance money and move on somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's really too bad, because it really was a cool place. And then the other fires throughout the city, like Pasadena and Altadena, I think you'll see those cities kind of rebuild, because those are just so old. And like, but those people who've been misplaced, I don't think they're never going to go back. They'll probably just move on.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
You can't imagine having a home for, 25 years. I mean, that's, gorgeous place like that, and just seeing it up in smoke and like that. And it's I can't even, yeah.
Yeah. Looks like we're running out of time.
We're almost out of time, Joe. I just wanted to let you know. But before we go, we do have to get to our very special Tales of the Impaler.
Look at those two handsome devils. Buffalo Championship Wrestling.
Well, what's funny is on that photo, I'm actually standing on a phone book, and I'm still shorter than Ivan. So that's just our height difference. That's how much shorter I was than Ivan. So.
So you mentioned briefly there for a second that we had a trip to LA back in 2006, I believe.
Yeah.
Myself, Scotty over there, and Ivan the Impaler visited you in LA.
Yeah, that was the last time I saw you, Scotty.
I was going to say that. That's the big guy and I were talking before the show. He's like, "When's the last time you seen Joe?" And I go, "I think it was California trip."
Yeah,
I think it's been that long. Because I was in Florida. Yeah, I've been in Florida, and it's just our paths just haven't crossed. So, I mean, it's a pleasure seeing you. But yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Time goes by. I can't believe it's been almost 20 years ago in California.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Joe, any memories from Ivan that you want to share, maybe from that trip?
I'll talk about that trip. The one memory was, so Ivan stayed with me while you guys stayed with somebody who I will not mention. And
yeah, please don't.
And Ivan was, he was my age now at the time. He was 40. Well, he was a little older, but he was 45 years old, and he had never done laundry before. So I had to teach him how to do laundry. I was 20 years younger than him.
So who did his laundry? His father, who was at the laundry?
Yeah, his father would just do his laundry.
Okay. I know a lot about Ivan. I never knew that. This is our first, folks, on the show here on the podcast. This is groundbreaking. I never knew that.
So I taught him how to do laundry. We went to the store and bought detergent, and he said, "What detergent do you normally use?" And I say, I said, whatever's on sale. And he said, oh, that's a good strategy. So that's the detergent he bought. And then, yeah, I taught him.
That's a good strategy. Oh, that's great.
Because Ivan, you guys know his hypochondriism. So like, he's not going to wear the same pair of pants 2 days in a row. You wear a pair of pants, you have to wash it. So he was with you guys were out there for a week, and I think he did laundry 3 times, which is insane to me because I do laundry maybe once every 2 weeks. So it's like so insane that he did that much laundry in such a short amount of time.
Do you recall any showers? How long were the showers long? Do you recall when he took a shower? Because anytime we were on the road with him and we had to shower like in a hotel, it was like an hour to an hour and a half.
I don't recall it being that crazy. But he showered every day. I don't recall it being like
that extensive.
Super. Yeah, I don't. But that again could have been reflected on me. Maybe my bathroom wasn't up to his standards. So.
Well, there was probably a drought going on. Maybe he was concerned about that.
That apartment that I was living in at the time was there was no water or electric bills. It was all paid for by the building.
Oh, so, free reign.
Yeah. You
surprised you didn't move in.
Smart strategy, Joe.
Yeah, so you could shower as long to your heart's desire.
Miss that guy. Oh, I never knew that he didn't do laundry up to that point. Mr. Godzik.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming on.
It's great seeing you, Joe.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you back again.
Yeah, I would love to be there in
100%.
person. But if the weather, once the weather gets nicer, maybe I could come out there and do it live with you guys. But I don't like to leave the house in the winter, so.
Do not blame you there.
I know this is my first winter back after being in Florida for 5 years, so it's a little getting used to. So, yeah, score for the Bills game.
I think the Bills win 27-20. I think it's going to be. I think it'll be close, but I think they'll put them away in the end.
I think it'll be closer than. I think the spread. I think they're getting 9 points. I think that's quite generous.
Right. Yes, I think so too.
But I think, so just wanted to throw that out there. I know that you're a Buffalo big Bills fan. So,
yeah.
Yep. There you go.
I got a 31-13.
Oh, you got a
31-13?
Yep.
I'm going to go 24-10.
Oh, you both have blowouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Bills are just too good at home. I mean, I just think they're just going to be fired up. They got something to prove. Denver's a good team, but Buffalo's I think Buffalo's that good.
And I'm wearing my Steelers hat because I'm looking forward to next year.
I give the Steelers a puncher's chance tonight, so we'll see.
I don't disagree. I think they've split throughout the year, right? One apiece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they've got a puncher's chance, the same way Mike Tyson did if they strike in the first 10 seconds before Russell Wilson's legs give out.
Let's not go there. I lost it.
Yeah, let's not bring that up again. 2024 was like ancient history at this point.
Yeah, right.
All right, Joe, thanks again.
Absolutely.
We're seriously running out of time, though.
Right. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Hope to have you back, and look for Joe on YouTube. Sweatpants Joe Eats.
Yeah.
Sweatpants Joe on Sports.
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of channels now. Yeah.
Oh, what's any other ones?
Just go to Sweatpants Joe Eats. You'll see me there. That's the one I love. That's my main channel, and then from there, my other videos will pop up.
So you're eating on this YouTube?
Yeah. You haven't seen my YouTube videos?
No, I've got it. I'm telling you, when I get out of here, go see Sweatpants Joe. Do you read on the show?
Do I read?
No, Kate Seinfeld, when they're pitching the episode, we do nothing, and we read on the show, and then you read on the show, you cook on the show.
Scotty,
Pepe,
what did you do today?
Nothing. No, something happened. No, nothing. But that's what made me remind me of what he said. I eat on the show. Like, you eat on the show? You read? Yeah.
There might be a beer episode coming up soon. drink Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin's beer and compare them. They've been sitting in my fridge for a couple of weeks now. I haven't gotten around to it.
I like that. And I'm a craft beer guy, so I'd be very interested to see that. But I'll definitely have to check it out. Yeah. Good stuff.
All right. Farewell.
All right. See you guys.
See you, Joe.
All right. Bye. All right, Scotty.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, what a great guest.
Oh, I didn't realize, time goes by so fast. I didn't realize it's been almost 20 years since I've seen him. I know that you and I spoke before, and I thought it was less than that, but you're right. California, 2006.
Yeah.
About 19, 20 years it's been. So just a good guy, all around good guy, very smart. Keeps, really does keep tabs on what's going on between, Canada.
He does love Canada.
Yes. Yes, he definitely has a.
He lives so close.
Lewiston. Yeah, it's right there. Like you said, he could swim across fast. We don't recommend anyone do that, but you're right. He's like right there, and Lewiston's beautiful.
Yeah, if you watch his YouTube channel, Sweatpants Joe Eats,
I'm going to.
He does a lot of food reviews. So he travels to Canada and does a lot of food reviews in Canada. He also loves CFL football. He goes to Hamilton, watches games there. He goes to Toronto. So we should really get to our first break, and it's up. You're up.
All right.
This is you. This is going to be you.
Well, it's Friday night again, and the phone just won't ring. You check your Facebook, you check your Instagram. Heck, you even check LinkedIn. Nope, no notifications. You haven't really had any attention from any of your friends or coworkers in a while. Everyone's talking about Gina just because of her motorcycle accident. But that was 6 months ago. Now there's a solution perfect for you. Attention Surplus from Clandestine Pharmaceutical is a once daily shot that'll give you a mild and harmless face rash and the concern of all of those around you.
Judy, are you okay? Oh my God, it looks like you have a watermelon growing on your face.
Hi, Judy. Do you have that report ready? Dear God, woman, what is that? Should I call you a doctor or a shaman or something? Judy. That cheeky. Munchie. Say it.
Your friends won't know what to say, but you'll have their attention, and we guarantee results. We even bet you might need a few ER doctors, ladies. Attention Surplus from Clandestine Pharmaceuticals for when you just need to be noticed.
Judy, we all pitched in and bought you a face mask. You don't have to thank us. Just please take care of yourself. And think about what we said about working from home, okay?
Hey, you. We know it's been tough and we think you are super brave and all. Just so brave. Do you think you could maybe sit outside during lunch? Maybe you could go to the park. We know the zoo already asked you not to come back. There's the old quarry by the salt mine, huh, Judy? Have you thought about the old quarry by the salt mine, huh, Judy?
And the best part is there are no side effects, as all the effects are full frontal effects. Simply take one do it one more time. And the best part is there are no side effects, as all the effects are full frontal effects. Simply take one 6-inch needle shot directly into your cheekbone each morning, and voila, your friends and coworkers will be eating out of your hands. Technically, they most likely will not make physical contact with your skin at any time, but physical contact is not part of the end user agreement. Please read the instructions before taking. Attention Surplus. Finally, life is for the technically still living again. Wow.
You got to admit it's going to raise some eyebrows and get some attention.
Yeah. Especially that 6-inch needle that you have to stick in your cheekbone.
Well,
most people might shy away from that, but from what I heard, it's not that bad.
Some of these weight loss drugs.
Right? You're sticking yourself,
right.
Ozempic and all these,
Have you seen the documentary on Netflix about the guy who's trying to, never die, to be young forever?
No.
Oh.
This is a true documentary? Or
yeah.
Does he look younger? What's it called? I have to check that out. Attention Surplus.
And I want to remind everyone, if you have a message you want to send to us, text message, voicemail, let us know, 585-431-6739. We also have a website, DIScontent is our content.com, and we have merchandise.
Oh, I love merchandise.
Yes.
I'm going to be sporting some new merchandise soon. So looking forward to it. Just get the name out there.
Oh, this would be a great time to show the website. We'll do that in post. Oh, but what you can get, hoodies, mugs, T-shirts.
3/4 zips.
Oh, we're going to have it all, and it's all available on DIScontent is our content.com, and we'll be back after this.
On the waves of the ocean.
What a year of getaways. Mike O'Brien, your getaway guy, with my 2024 look back, maybe a few ideas for the new year. Look for my show now on Facebook and YouTube.
And we're back. Content if you continue the content with the DIScon, Scotty?
Yes.
Yeah.
This content is our content. And again, that phone number, folks, reach out to us, text message us, call us, leave a voicemail, 585-431-6739. Love to hear from you.
Yes, thank you. And don't forget the text messages. We've been a little remiss. We've only focused on voicemails.
Correct.
We do want text messages, and we are going to present one later today.
Oh, can't wait.
Let's kick it up a notch and go to our trending topics for the week. And that does mean it's time for Scotty Bender.
Yes.
State funeral. We cool now, bro?
Well, first, I do want to just, say that my condolences to the late, great past president Jimmy Carter, recently passed away. I think it was, over 100?
Yeah, I just want to say, you can't have me go, we cool now, bro?
Yeah.
And then go right to that. You got to give me a buffer, because now I look like a jerk.
I didn't mean to do that,
Yeah, so if I go, we cool now, bro? You got to go like over the top, and then bring it down.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
All right. Here's Scotty Bender. We cool now, bro?
Yeah, man.
Well,
We're cool.
I feel better.
We're cool.
I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll work on it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, the past president Jimmy Carter passed away. And as you know, they had the big funeral here this past week. All past presidents in attendance. Big deal. A lot of national attention. But more importantly, we got to see President-elect Donald Trump and former President Obama sitting next to each other, exchanging pleasantries. Now, what's not is what was said, or that the fact they were sitting there, seemingly, chumming it up. It's kind of the bigger picture here are two people that said some pretty nasty things about each other, about their families, and dragging each other through the gutter. And then you show up to this funeral, and I get being cordial. I mean, you've been to wakes, funerals, there's might be people there you're not the best of friends with, but everyone's cordial, you nod or you say some words. But these two seem to be, laughing and not yucking it up. But how do you go from being called Hitler, or, having your wife attacked as he calling her a man, and then when you see each other, how do you just kind of put that all aside? Because I gotta be honest, if I heard someone out there calling me Hitler and, disparaging my wife and my family, and I saw them, I'm not saying I get into a fist fight with them, but I don't know how cordial I'd be. I mean, this was kind of drag it out, kind of brawl between these two. I've always understood, was under the impression they don't like each other. I mean, ended democracy, and Obama did all this. I mean, the remarks just went back and forth. So, I mean, what are we really being told here? What's the truth? Let's go back to Trump, when Trump went to the White House and met with Biden. Again, these two obviously have said some really, nasty things against each other. But then they go to the White House and they're sitting there, and it looks like Biden and Trump are best of friends. And all of a sudden they leave, he leaves, and they depart again. And now Biden's back on the attack of, shots at Trump, and Trump taking shots at Biden. And so you went from seeing each other saying, yeah, that was a good meeting, transfer of power, we're not going to stand in the way, to now, that, there are some, hurdles that are being thrown his way. And I just don't believe anymore. It goes back to when you were talking about the Truth Commission. That's, you're led to believe for all these weeks, oh, Trump and Obama hate each other. But when you see them, Trump's asking to speak to him, supposedly, in a quieter area, so I don't know. That's just, that's kind of where I'm scratching my head a little bit.
Sure. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Like in the world of professional wrestling.
Yes. Yeah. It's a good analogy. We spend a lot of time in that space.
Yeah. We have some familiarity, right?
Yep.
You have heels and faces, right?
Yep.
In the political arena, Donald Trump among his fans and Barack Obama, Joe Biden among their fans, they're the hero and the other guy is the villain.
Mm-hmm.
To see them together, this is like a wrestling fan in 1983 seeing the Iron Sheik and
Hulk Hogan
together.
Sharing a meal or breaking bread together at a bar or something where it was unheard of.
Right.
Kayfabe.
Where is the kayfabe?
Yes.
Why did they should have separated Republicans and Democrats at the funeral and just had them on separate sides of the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying, well, it's a funeral. This is beyond Republican and Democrat. And yeah, it probably is for the good of the country.
Mm-hmm.
But appearances matter, and this looks worse to me. This looks like everything else is bullshit.
Yeah. It's like they were cutting promos on each other throughout the campaign, and for folks who know what cutting a promo is, when before your match, you'd come out and, talk shit about your opponent and, all these hyperboles and, all these grandeur plan. I'm going to take you out and do this. And, and then then you have the wrestling match. So it was kind of like these politicians are doing promos, these wrestling promos over the top. And then, like you said, they break quote unquote kayfabe and they're together at the funeral and talking like they, nothing has ever been said about each other. So
now let's look at this photo again. You have Obama leaning over, Trump's leaning over. He's got a big smile on his face.
And do you notice?
Melania is ignoring everything.
I don't think she was too happy.
Yeah. Now, what do you think they're saying to each other right there?
I'm not really I gotta, maybe, Obama was, saying to Trump, I knew you were going to win. I knew you had this the whole time.
Wow.
I don't know if they said that.
Your imagination is way better than mine. I pictured Obama saying something like, so, did you find that birth certificate yet? Maybe Trump was like, hey, I heard your brother's taking over Kenya. There's just so much kind of nonsense that goes on during a campaign. They say so much.
Over the top.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, I'm only bringing this up because, I'm a Trump fan, but calling him Hitler.
Sure.
That's parody. What do you thinking about the atrocities that man, you did, the atrocities that he committed.
You're talking about Hitler.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to say that, compare him. Yes. But to compare him, being compared to that's pretty bad. So I don't know how, someone calls you Hitler, I don't know where you go from there. I don't know how much worse it could get,
Or a Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah, right. That's
bring that up all the time.
Yep, agreed. Or calling your wife a man. Or claiming that,
So my trending topic, another...
real quick, by the way, I just want to mention, I just wanted to say that I did find it quite amusing to see where Kamala and her husband were sitting, Kamala Harris, and she kept kind of looking back at Obama and Trump, so that was just kind of that was interesting, but go ahead.
I guess she was, she actually had planned to take a shot that day, and it just didn't have time, so she didn't get the attention.
Gotcha. Surplus.
Yeah. So we're looking at this soulless robot in crisis. also known as Mark Zuckerberg.
Mm-hmm.
You know him as the creator of Facebook, the owner of Meta,
Mm-hmm.
one of the richest people in the world, and he's gone political, following in the footsteps of Elon. He's bowed down to the Trump
Regime.
machinery,
Mm-hmm.
and he's now made changes at Facebook, eliminated the fact checkers
Mm-hmm.
to please Trump. So no more fact checking. He's eliminated the protections against the LGBTQ plus community, and he's eliminated the DEI protections in the hiring. What does all this mean? It means Facebook is now going to be just like X and Twitter. It's going to become a swampland where white nationalists or racists or neo-Nazis can thrive, or Trumpers, as some other people might call them. Why does it have to be that way? Why can't social media just be a place where people can go and not worry about harassment, racism, and stuff like that? Why is there freedoms and protections for the people who want to be racist, but not protections for the people who don't want to experience racism? Scotty?
So I don't view it that way. My bigger thing is with Facebook and with X really was the scrutinizing and the blocking of true information about COVID vaccination. Not here to talk about, the fact that there's all this stuff coming out about how dangerous it was, and that, there wasn't a lot of research and things were just being blocked. So there's people coming out, and that bothers me more because people's lives are at risk. They could be at risk with this vaccination, and now they're, they're being told that not to put things out there anti-vax. I mean, I think I read somewhere Biden administration folks were calling Zuckerberg's employees, yelling at them and telling them to take things down. So I don't know if I don't really read into the white supremacy aspect of it. I don't feel that, or I don't recognize that, but I'm sure it could happen. But I'm more on the end that, I was very disappointed that all these, not just the fact checking, but just blocking information, especially about the vaccination. It scares me because there was such an effort to not let the truth out there by the government at the time about the vaccination. It makes me think that they were hiding something about it. There should be a flow of information. Some people are going to defend it. Some people are not going to defend it. But the fact that it was a one-sided thing where it's like, you got to get vaxxed, you got to get stabbed, you got to get the shot, something wrong. And then you got people that were saying, well, wait a minute, they had their opinions about it and they wanted to let folks know what their concerns were, but they weren't able to voice it. That was a big reason that I went off Facebook and didn't do things like X at the time, because I felt like it was all one-sided. It was all left information. You couldn't voice your opinion on Facebook. You're right. You couldn't talk about transgenders if you believe that they shouldn't. Any opinion that went against what the left wanted was being blocked. That's where I.
Okay.
Well, like you said about the white nationalism stuff, Biden came out and said the number one threat to Americans is white supremacy. That was the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. I don't know. I don't know where white supremacy is happening. I'm not aware of it. I don't know where. I know it's out there, but I don't feel like I see it as much. Maybe I'm not looking for it, where I see more of information being blocked and censorship on Facebook of folks. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what I think about the vaccination. You probably could figure it out. But if you had an opinion about it, Meta would block it. So I'm glad to see that, maybe there'll be a free flow of information, but there comes a price, like you said. Then you get everyone out there, then you do get folks who might be white supremacists or could be any kind of racist, that's out there and spewing their hatred. And that is concerning. I do agree.
Right. So blocking misinformation, it goes back to like the Truth Commission idea,
Exactly.
which, a lot of that vax information was false and misleading. I mean, taking the horse medication is complete nonsense.
Right. But to take the vaccination though and say there's no side effects, there's no harm from it, I think that's not true. There are definitely some bad side effects, and people died from it, in my opinion. And
No,
no one died from the vaccination.
No. That's right-wing nonsense.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of misinformation about that. I mean, the vaccine was necessary. That's how you stop a pandemic. And referring to like some of this stuff as left is, I mean, it's not. It's like science. Science isn't left. It's just science. It's
Well, like
nothing to do with
Fauci.
left or right.
You couldn't say any bad about Fauci. I mean, and
Well, that's because Fauci isn't left.
no, but I meant just the information about the vaccination, the COVID, and a lot of stuff. That stuff, I don't know. We'll agree to disagree. I don't, I still think the vaccination, does cause harm. But again, do I have facts to prove that? No. I would only go on what I've read and things that I've seen. So I can't quote a source, or I just want to make it clear it's personal opinion. I don't want to say that it's not going to hurt you. That's Scotty Bender's personal opinion. That's not any,
Yeah, no, I think everyone who's watching knows people who believe that, because, that's what a lot of people say on the right. That's what a lot of websites say. That's what a lot of misinformation says. That's why we need like a source of truth.
I don't disagree one bit with you. That's what we do agree. Because we go back to earlier in the show talking about the truth, and
Right.
it's always about, we don't ever get the truth out.
Mel Gibson was just on Joe Rogan.
You know what? I did know that, but I'm gonna have to listen.
He's claiming now that ivermectin, the horse
Yes.
stuff, is now, he's saying it's now also a cure for cancer.
Oh,
He says he knows 4 people that took it who had stage 4 cancer and they're better. Now he's spreading this, and now this is going to become, again, something that the right is going to push, and you can see it happening again. There's no scientific fact behind it, right?
mm-hmm.
So whenever someone was anti-vax, what they would say is, well, the vax, it needs to go through the proper testing. It needs to go through this and this and this, and this hasn't been tested. But when it comes to something like someone saying, oh, ivermectin will do it, they never say like, oh, that should be tested and it should go through this, this, and that. There's this weird double standard of, if a non-scientist says it works, well, it must be true, because Mel Gibson said it.
Mm-hmm. I just go back to when I was in Florida. I had got COVID, and I'm going to apologize to our listeners out there. I don't remember the name of the drug. I could just tell you like a kind of a high overview. So I had gotten COVID. There was a drug out there that Biden, or not just Biden, but the government wasn't pushing to help. Basically, it would help shorten the symptoms of COVID. Okay, it was kind of like a thing that, and it was 3 shots. You got 3. You got 1 in your stomach, 2 in your stomach, I think, 1 in your arm. But I had gotten COVID pretty bad, so I went. But no one wanted to promote it. But DeSantis took all of it that no one wanted. He's like, I'll take it, and I think it's working, and I'll do it. So they had these clinics that were set up that I went to. I had the shots, and I'm going to tell you, I felt within 24 hours, I felt a lot better. And I had COVID longer, but the symptoms I had were gone. I still had it in my system, but I can't say that, I don't have any proof. Did those shots help, or was it just my body recovering? I don't know. But I just know that I felt 10 times better from that. And this was something that, again, DeSantis said there was a surplus of it, so no one wanted it, so he took it, and then was having clinics throughout Florida when COVID was happening. So, but it wasn't ivermectin or whatever; it was something else. It was 3 shots, and it went, like I said, 2 in your stomach and 1 in your arm.
Sure. Yeah, I don't really have a comeback to that one.
Yeah, no, I don't, again, I had no scientific proof. I went, and had it, and I did feel better after. I felt lousy, and then I went to this, it was like in a school, gymnasium, and they, you went in, showed your ID, they gave you a shot, and I went home, and within 24 hours, I was like dead to rights, but I got up, I was walking around, and I just did feel better, even though it didn't get rid of COVID. It just, the symptoms of it were decreased. But again, going back to the whole thing with Zuckerberg, you go from, it seems like they're going from one end of it to like, censoring now to no censoring. There's no middle ground. It's always, now it's like, let's open the floodgates up. So it's just funny to see how they fell under such pressure to do what they do. And now all of a sudden, you're right, now with the Trump machine, now all of a sudden he's kissing the ring. Right. Now he's coming out, and, now him and Elon are going to be buddies, and, and that could be alarming.
It's not really censorship either. That's another thing that needs to be said. Censorship involves like public media.
Mm-hmm.
This is social media, and it involves like personal like profiles.
Mm-hmm.
You're not censoring when you say an individual posts something that is, racist or pornographic or anything, and you block it. That's not censorship of an individual. That's just, a public company doing what's right.
Mm-hmm.
Censorship would be if they prevented an article from being published in a newspaper.
Mm-hmm. But if I went to post, say I took an article from like the Times or something, and I went on Facebook, it would say it was an article about anti-vaccination, I'm just going to say. And they had an article that with, and they had their experts lay it out. It wasn't just some Yahoo saying vaccination. It's, I reposted an article that I thought people should know. And they blocked it. That wouldn't be censorship. And I'm asking you, I'm not trying to debate you. I'm asking if that's not censorship.
So
New York Post posts something. I take New York Post, I repost it.
I understand. It's just, we were saying, would it make sense? Because they would be blocking the New York Post or the New York Times. They won't be blocking you.
Okay, I see what you're.
They would be censoring the paper, yes.
But you would see where people would think they're censoring me, though. Your folks might get that impression, may not understand it completely. Like I would say, you're blocking me, right? So there are folks that are going to they're not going to see it your way.
But they wouldn't be able to censor the Times, the Post. They're too big.
Right.
Could they censor OAN News? Maybe.
Yeah.
They probably have. And I think some of those sites, like InfoWars, has been
Alex
kicked
Jones.
off of like every
right
social media site.
Is that Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because there is a limit to what you can say in this country.
Yeah. No, it's true. But it'll be interesting. We'll leave it at that. It'll be interesting to see what comes about from this. And yeah. Are you going to get off Facebook?
I'm barely on it.
Are you?
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really. I mean, I'm on it now, but and you're on Blue Sky. Is that correct?
Yes.
How is that?
It's good. No complaints.
Do you find a leaning left? Truthfully,
yes, but
not with the disparity, not with the stupidness that sometimes is some things are posted. People get over the top. Like
what is happening is Blue Sky has gone from 1 million users to 15 million. Now I think it's approaching 30 million. So now like the bots are starting to arrive, and the OnlyFans accounts that follow you, and it's starting to get some of the problems that social media accounts
with growth,
Yeah.
Like you said, with growth and bringing more people in, you're going to get a variety of more people, and they're not all going to be,
Right.
Yeah. No, I understand.
But it's it's tremendous for what I'm looking for, which is I follow writers and reporters, and I get my news there, and it's good.
Can I just throw a random thing out there?
Yeah. I
is,
love random.
What did you? This has nothing to do with Zuckerberg. I know we were running or getting close on time here, but what did you? Just want your opinion, because you said about a reporter. Just David Muir.
Yeah.
Did you see that with the clothespin?
I didn't see the clothespin now.
So David Muir was at
The fires.
Yes, and they caught where he was. So he had the big fireman coat on, like a coat for the fires. But I don't know if it's being vain, but they took the coat and they tailored it, pulled it back, and then took a clothespin and put the clothespin on so it would pull everything back so it would look more fitting on him. So when he was talking about the fires, he went to turn the point, and you could see the clothespin sticking out from where he had tailored down his coat. But then, after all the backlash of people posting about it, the next time you saw him, the coat was bigger on him. It was like a coat that. So it was like they gave him a coat that didn't fit, so he put it on and he pulled everything back. So people were just like, "You got fires going on. This guy's worried about it, the way he looks on TV and the way his coat is." I thought that was funny.
Do you know that for sure, or is that speculation?
It could be speculation. It's just assuming.
I'm just saying, because in the TV business,
that's why I'm bringing it up to you, big guy, because you are in the
lots of
TV
times
business.
you run cables down someone's back, and you secure stuff down your back.
Okay. And you're a TV guy.
Microphone or headphone cables would go down your back, and if you're securing it, you would.
Just check it out when you get a chance. You know what? I'm going to send you a link.
I did watch some of his Wildfire live coverage. I didn't notice him wearing a coat at any time.
It was like a yellow,
right,
fireman's coat. And he was pointing to something. When he went to turn to point, that's when people,
right,
caught it. And of course, everyone picks everything apart to its finest detail on social media. I will say that.
Yeah.
So you can't get away with anything.
Well, the other thing I notice on social media is people jump to conclusions, and usually it's wrong. And then
guilty
the
as
other
charged.
thing is when they're wrong, that falsehood spreads like wildfire when the truth never gets noticed.
Well, you know what I think it is too? People believe what they want to believe. Okay. So I'm guilty as charged of that. There's times that, okay, I'm just going to say I don't really have an opinion either way of David Muir. So
LeBron, a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
You thought LeBron did something.
Because he was taking himself out. Yep.
Yeah.
No.
But he just had a foot injury.
Right. But what I was going with David Muir is, I think what happens is, I don't care for David Muir either way. I don't dislike him. Okay. But let's say you were a really anti-David Muir person. Sometimes people are looking for stuff like that so they can just take it and run with, oh, look at that. He's vain. He has a pin on. So they're looking for those things to pick on somebody or to, and then they run with it because that's what they're looking for. So that's
they don't know TV, so they don't know he's got a bunch of cables running down his back.
Right.
They need to secure them, and
no, and I couldn't. That's why I brought it up with you. I was just curious, but but you're right. People look for what they want to look for. They grab it, they run with it, they hold it like a football, and then they run up them. They run with it, and they keep running. And you're right. Then it just keeps getting spread. When it's, you
see it every day on social media.
All right, so here's, like you said, okay, I'm guilty as charged with LeBron. I'm not a LeBron James fan. All right, just leave it there. Right. I'm not going to go into it. Yeah. So when I saw that, or I assumed that's something I was I'm hoping that there's a problem. You know what I mean? I'm being, being transparent here. I'm looking I'm looking for the downfall of LeBron James, in my subconsciousness. So when I see this, I'm like, oh, this is when it's going to start falling. He's a Diddy fan, and instead of just saying, he had a foot injury, that's all it was. I was looking for something more.
Right.
So again, full transparency to our listeners out there. I have been guilty of that.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're the only one.
No. But I'm just saying that I'm not going to sit here and say I've never done that before. Of course, I have.
Right.
Anytime something with Kamala, everyone's, got their, just like people with Trump, they don't like Trump, but they're looking for that thing that Trump does bad so they can grab it and run with it. And I was doing the same, so I need to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want me to make fun of David Muir, I will, because what
I was just using it close
here's what he does. If you watch him, he'll be doing his thing, and he'll have someone live on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
He'll use their main response in his first question. So, like, for an example, he's got someone on the scene of a wildfire.
Okay.
And he knows that the first thing they're going to say is, there are 7 survivors in such and such.
Yep.
So his first question is going to be, thanks for joining us, John. I understand that there are 7 survivors in the scene. And he does it constantly so that the person on the scene is always like, that's right, David. There are 7. And I know, I can see it in like the reporter's eyes. They're like, oh, this guy every single time.
Yeah. I mean, I know who he is. I know he's done war corresponding and stuff. I just happened to see that, that clothespin thing. I thought was funny. And I wanted to bring it up because, again, folks know you've done a lot of TV in your time, and you've done, you've been there producing stuff. So I just didn't know if that was common or, so. Hey, good segue. We start off with Zuckerberg, but this is what this show's about.
Hey, this is what we do.
That's right. We just talk. Discontent is our
And
content.
Because we're discontent.
Yes.
That's us.
No, that was
tired. We just want the truth.
Just want the truth.
The truth.
I want the truth.
Scotty, let's do a text message.
Yes.
From our fans.
It's been a good episode here.
Oh.
Long but good.
Oh. Will it end?
We're almost. Okay.
So,
we got a text message. Oh,
yeah.
Really? Okay. Go ahead.
So this is from our hotline, 585-431-6739. Clifford, Waste Management, Inc. is looking, and they want to know if you're still interested in a job in the area.
What?
Scotty?
No. Was that directed at me personally, or was that just a general text?
Well, it came to the hotline.
And I haven't applied for any jobs or been on Indeed or anything. I don't know how they would have gotten that.
Do you sometimes go by Clifford?
No, never.
Never.
No. I would go by Cliff, but not Clifford.
You do go by Cliff.
Well, I would. I mean, I did. But if it was really me, like I would use Clifford, not.
Okay.
I mean, Cliff, not Clifford. Excuse me.
Well, this does open up a whole can of worms.
So we're getting folks who are confusing our hotline with job applicants?
Well, maybe there's a guy named Clifford who's using our number for job applicants.
Okay, that's
I don't know why, unless he wants, maybe Clifford, if you're watching, Waste Management's trying to reach you.
Yes.
I guess call us and call me anytime. I'll try to set something up.
Yeah. Take a look at his resume, make sure, yeah. But right, if Clifford is out there, they are looking for you at Waste Management. Clifford.
Yeah.
Hear us out. Yeah.
Or Cliff.
Right, Cliff. Right, Cliff.
Yeah. And Cliff, if you have any comments about Mark Zuckerberg or anything else,
right.
You just want to talk to Scotty, leave a voicemail.
Right. Or, yeah.
Scotty's open to doing personal appearances, birthday parties,
cameo,
bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, whatever you need.
Yeah. Hey, what a great show today.
Absolutely. Again, I want to thank Joe Todaro for coming on. We look forward to bringing him back. I mean, we could have there's so much. We didn't even, like I said, touch the tip of the iceberg on this. There's so much more to talk about. And look forward to bringing him back. Very knowledgeable.
Oh.
And again, what is it? Sweatpants Joe eating. So you're telling me he goes and he'll go to does he film at the restaurant, or does he get the food to go and he brings it home and eats it?
Well, there's a whole series.
Okay.
Sometimes most of the time I'd say he eats at the location.
And they're okay with that. There's no sort of filming issues?
Sometimes he eats in his car at the location.
Okay.
Sometimes he, he does a lot of hot dog reviews.
Okay.
He might be your number one hot dog reviewer on YouTube.
Really?
Could be. He'll cook those at home because he'll buy store-bought hot dogs, cook them, prepare them at home, and sample them, give his review. He reviews chicken wings.
Ooh, I love
different
chicken
places.
Wings. That's right up my alley.
He also reviews soda pop. different brands,
Really? I see
stuff he's
this.
never heard of. He reviews. He does a thing called "Who Defeats," where he compares brands. Like, you know how there's Ho Ho's.
Yep. And then Little Debbie's.
And then there's like Yodels.
Yes, from Little Debbie. Or no, from
Yeah. And
Not
then
Little
there's
Debbie,
Swiss
but-
cake rolls from Little Debbie.
Yep.
They're all like the same thing.
Drake's.
Drake's.
Does
Love
the
the Drakes.
They do the yodels.
Yeah.
I think they do the yodels. Drake's.
So he would do like a who defeats and compare to see which is the best.
Okay. All right. We're gonna have to. And the whole sweatpants thing. I'm assuming is he's wearing sweatpants.
I think back when he started,
It was kind of like a gimmick, like wrestling. Yeah, it was his gimmick. He was Sweatpants Joe.
he also has Sweatpants Joe Sports. He's doing some sports commentary.
Okay.
So he's a big presence on YouTube. Should definitely check.
I
him
will,
out.
and our viewers too. I'm gonna
Oh.
I'm gonna get hooked on this. Especially
Yeah.
you said about chicken wings. I love chicken wings.
And
So-
he's reviewed some garbage plates.
Oh.
So, you want to check that out?
Okay. Speaking of that, I might have to stop on the way home. But
Yeah, and let's go home.
Yes.
As they say in the business, take us home. Is there that DIScontent is our content.
yes.